out there, what's happening? I'm slowly going crazy. How about you? We're stuck at home. That's right. So, do you ever wonder about how to ration when you're cooking? Well, luckily, you ran into the right guy. I'm the ration king. In fact, my wife tells me that I ration so much that she wants more food after and there's none left. Why? Because I've rationed for the evening. Why do I ration? Well, not just because of these trying times right now, but I ration so I know how much food to eat and control it by not overeating. And so a lot of it has to do with diet, of course. But I mean, a lot of it has to do with the amount of people in my family and how many people I have to cook for. And I've kind of been doing this since college, so it's pretty secondary to me. But here I'm going to show you how I've been kind of taught by other people to do the same thing. So we'll start off with a video today of rationing some greens. I love my greens. I love greens. I love kale. I love rapini. I love dandelion greens, which I'll be showcasing today, and collard greens, of course. I love them all. Now, to eliminate me going back and forth to the store all the time, I got to show you how to buy in abundance and how to start rationing and freezing and cooking from the freezer. You can keep these greens well into the freezer for at least 6 months. So that's enough time to kind of keep stuff like that, and they're great for side dishes. They're easy to prep. They're going to be nutritious and tasty. And again, like I said, they're a great side dish for fish, steak, if you're a vegetarian, good on its own. And a method like this was obviously taught by my mother and grandmother, even though I kind of studied it in school. They really, honestly, are the masters of rationing, my mom especially. Just to kind of grow up and always see her harvest things from the garden, cook them into a certain form or half cook them, freeze them, and the proper storage, and then cooking them again to when we have to use them for any of our dishes. So I kind of grew up seeing that all the time, and I continued it into my own family. So this video coming up here will show you what a weekly occurrence is in my house and what I do to make sure that we have enough food for the rest of the week. Cool. Hey everyone, we got a rationing video here today. And by rationing, I'm going to show you how we ration our greens. And by greens, these ones here in particular are dandelion greens. You'll see I go ahead and bunch them up, start taking the stems off. I don't throw away the stems per se. I use the stems either for beef or chicken stock or fish stock or anything like that. I'll mix them with all the other vegetables if I'm cutting them for the week. Or I go ahead and compost them and let them compost down and use them again in the garden. And I'll show you that in a later video this week. We do ration them up at this point, so give them a nice little chop. Rough chop, doesn't have to be anything particular. Go ahead, put them in our stainless steel containers, have them soak and rinse in cold water, move them around, and then drain them. We do this obviously to get rid of any impurities, dirt, E. coli if it may be on the leaf, so we don't want to go direct from market to table. We want to do a little bit of a cleaning process in between, and this is how you go about doing that. These are to be boiled right after that, so there is another process of killing any other impurities as well. Go ahead, at this point here we have a tall stock pot that I use to boil a lot of my greens when I'm rationing them. Because I'm using them in abundance and in big amounts, I do tend to have a bigger stock pot to put everything inside of. Now, depending on how many greens you buy, you don't have to use a bigger stock pot. Just make sure that it fits in there, that it's not overflowing, and that you don't put water all the way to the top, because once it starts to boil, it's going to spill over. Okay, so that's all prepped now, and we're going to start filling this up with some cold water. So you'll see in this next part of the video now that we have the cold water inside, ready to go. And set my oven to medium high, and then I want to start this boiling for approximately about 10 to 15 minutes. Now that it's been maybe about at the 10-minute mark at this point, so I want to start giving it a bit of a turn, a flip. We're doing this boiling to take a lot of the bitterness out of the plant. Depends how much bitterness you do want in the plant, will depend on how long you want it boiled. For people who do love the bitterness of the plant, they tend to just steam saute rather than boil. But for rationing purposes, I'm going to be boiling the plant, obviously to fit inside my freezer. You'll see here that I'm draining the leaf at this point. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is put some cold water over top of it, or you can form an ice bath as well. This is to stop the cooking time on the leaf as well. We don't want it overcooked too much because it might not saute well. So what I do here is I go ahead and I throw cold water over it, stop the cooking, and then get it ready for saute. 2 tablespoons of olive oil, just by eye, obviously. That's something I learned from my mom. Everything was by eye. Throw some garlic that I chopped off. We have about 2 cloves of garlic that I chopped off in there, and start the sauteing process. Want to move that garlic around, don't want to burn it. Medium-high heat again. Get that garlic infused in the olive oil. And then I go ahead, and once the leaf is drained out of its water enough and cooled down, I go ahead and throw it inside my pan. You'll notice there I'm showing off that I have used my freezer bags and that I have rationed out the rest. So here we go ahead, turn it around, give it a few flips. We want to be cooking this approximately, again, medium-high heat, approximately about 10 minutes. Throw some seasoning inside. It's a pinch of salt, pinch of pepper, nothing crazy. If you want to add some spice, go ahead. But here, because I'm cooking it for the family, and I'm probably the only person really particular to spice, I won't be doing anything like that. Move it around. Again, we don't want this to stick to the bottom of the pan or burn, so we constantly want to be moving it a little bit. And that's it. And that's ready to plate. And so what you'll notice at the end of this video over here, I'll show you a lot of the freezer bags that I have ready. And in these freezer bags, I have all the leaves that I've boiled, put into freezer bags and ready to freeze. And in a later video, I'm going to show you how to take it from freezer to your table. Thanks again, guys. Hey, if you like this video and many other ones that we have, then please comment, subscribe, and tell all your friends.